Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about makeup products that are coming out that I'm not interested in buying. So aka an anti-haul. I filmed a couple of these on my channel before and you guys seem to really enjoy them. So yeah, I've just been kind of like stalking the Trend Mood website this morning and I've screenshotted a load of new launches and products that just don't really interest me for whatever reason and I won't be buying. The first one is actually from Kylie Cosmetics. I've mentioned Kylie Cosmetics as a kind of like brand in anti-hauls before and said that, to be honest, I'm not really interested in anything she comes out with. I think it's mostly because the brand is in America and I know that I'm going to have to pay customs when I order it. That puts me off. So if it comes over to the UK and I can buy it from like an online retailer from the UK or whatever, maybe I will do that, but for now, no. This is the Kylie Cosmetics limited edition. Oh, actually, let me scoot so that I can put the pictures here. So I believe this is just the Kylie Cosmetics Christmas edition collection. So we have a couple of eyeshadow palettes. There looks like there's some lip liners and some lip glosses. The packaging looks really, really nice. It's kind of like baby pink with gold, sparkly, right up my street packaging wise. However, the actual products look nothing kind of like I already have 10 times over in my collection. And this is probably quite pricey. The eyeshadow palettes look very basic in my opinion. I mean, they look pretty. I would definitely wear them. They're the sort of colours that I wear all the time, but they're also the sort of colours I have 10 times over in my collection, you know? So I'm not interested in buying this collection. The next product launch that I won't be buying is actually from KKW. I don't have a thing against the Kardashians and Jenners, by the way. I feel like I literally talk about in anti-hauls all the time, like the Kylie Jenner brand and also Kim's brand. I don't have anything against the Kardashians, but their brand just doesn't interest me. I don't know why I did that with my hair. So she's bringing out a £5 eyeshadow, which again just looks really basic and looks like something that I have a million times. And then she's bringing out what looks like glosses as a set. And what is that? A lip liner set. I'm sure the products are insane. I personally have never tried KKK? Oh, don't want to be saying that. KKW Beauty. I haven't tried anything from her brand either. I've heard really good things about like the concealer, the contour sticks. I really want to try the contour sticks. But I don't know. I just feel like it's probably just overpriced for what it is and you're probably just paying for that name. So yeah, I won't be buying this. So Beauty Bakerie is coming out with a £9 eyeshadow palette. This is the Sugar Cookies palette. I am a little bit bored of blue eyeshadow at this point. I love blue eyeshadow. I wear it not that often actually, but I will use blue eyeshadow. I've used it on my Instagram a few times. I'm sick and tired of these palettes that just have like neutral shades and then a couple pops of blue or like one pop of blue. It's boring now. I'm over it. I'm over it. I have a million palettes with like that one shade of blue that you barely ever use. This has obviously got 4 shades of blue, which they look like nice shades of blue, but I'm just not. No, it just doesn't interest me. Jeffree Star is bringing out the new Blood Money collection, which is essentially just a green eyeshadow palette. I am a big fan of green eyeshadow. I like to use green on my eyes every now and then. I do not support Jeffree Star Cosmetics or Jeffree Star at all. I don't like him. I think he's an asshole, to put it simply, and I don't support his brand. I have purchased the... It's gone out of my head. What's it called? The Conspiracy palette. I do own the Conspiracy palette, which was the collaboration with Shane Dawson, but that was at a time when I sort of like didn't really have an opinion on Jeffree Star, and now I kind of have done more research on him or watched videos about him and kind of like what he is actually like behind the scenes, and I just, no thank you. I will not be purchasing this or anything from his brand in the future. Next we have a huge palette from Sample Beauty. Sample Beauty isn't a brand I've ever tried before. I would actually really like to try. Actually, that's a lie. I have a loose glitter or like a loose like kind of like glittery pigment from them that I bought off of Beauty Bay, I believe, which I've used a handful of times. It's nice, but at the end of the day it's just like a loose glitter, which you could kind of get from like any brand. The reason why I won't be buying this is just because I don't really love the colour story. It's got some nice greens and some nice purples and some neutrals, which I do all like those colours on my eyes, but I just feel like this palette doesn't like really speak to me. I don't know, it's only £21.95, which is a really good and fair price for such a large palette, but I'm kind of over these huge palettes that just have like tons of shades, because to be honest, when I look at a palette like that that's got so many shades in it, if anything, I just get overwhelmed and I just don't know like what to do with the palette, and I just don't know what colours to use with what. So yeah, obviously I've got a few of the bigger Morphe palettes, and I don't really feel like I need to add another huge palette into my collection just at this point. So I will be skipping on that one. Okay, so the next launch again is from KKW Beauty. These are, okay, so it's not a new launch, it's just new shades and new packaging, I believe, of the concealer and the powders. Yeah, I have a load of concealers that I need to use up before I even think about purchasing another concealer. And I'm really trying to do that at the moment, just like get through my makeup and kind of use it up before I think about like buying any more. Even though I'll obviously still continue to always buy new makeup, I'm quite selective of what I actually buy until like at least I've used up a couple of the products from that same category. So yeah, this just doesn't really speak to me. I feel like the next concealer that I buy will definitely be probably the Tarte Shape Tape, that is literally, I feel like I need to try that once in my life, you know what I mean? Whereas I just don't really hear enough kind of good things about KKW Beauty and her concealers and things like that as a whole to warrant me like wanting to buy this product. So I won't be buying this, but the packaging does look insane. Okay, so the next launch is from Nabla Cosmetics. Nabla Cosmetics have some really lovely packaging. I really like how they do their quad eyeshadows because the packaging is like see-through. You've got like the see-through kind of pan, and then you've just got the eyeshadows. I love that packaging. I think it's so sleek and kind of modern and fresh looking. However, I looked at the prices of some of their products on Beauty Bay the other day, and I think for that palette or like the quads, it's like 40 something pounds, which for me, I can't really warrant spending 40 pounds on a quad when I don't really know like much about the brand. I don't know if it's good or bad. I haven't really heard anyone talk about this. So even though the packaging is beautiful, the colours look amazing, I probably just won't be buying it unless I hear anyone who I really trust online saying that it's like the best thing ever. Also this bigger palette that they've got there in the middle, that just like the colour story in that is just a bit, I don't know, it doesn't really do anything for me. Again, it's just another neutral palette with a few shimmers, which I have a million of, so I definitely don't need that. Revlon are coming out with some palettes. So there's 6 palettes in the collection, and there is 4 shades in each pan. So these actually remind me heavily of the e.l.f. Cosmetics Bite Size eyeshadow palettes, which if you didn't already know are some of my favourite drugstore eyeshadow palettes ever. I have every shade and I literally swear by them. I love them so much. I use them all the time on my Instagram. Those ones are £3. These ones, I don't know how much they are, but they're probably double if not triple the price, and I just feel like they won't be as good as the e.l.f. ones. Plus I feel like they've kind of like taken the e.l.f. idea and sort of like put it on their own, but it just still hasn't worked. Like I just don't really get the colours in here. You've got like a random kind of neutral one with again a pop of blue. What is it with the pop of blue? I just can't. And then there's like a really kind of like boring neutral one with orange, an orange and a pink. I don't know, I don't really get the colour stories of these palettes. I'm sure the texture, the quality is really nice, and obviously it's drugstore, so it's not gonna break the bank, but they just don't really speak to me, so I probably won't be buying these. Okay, so Morphe are bringing out a new collection with Nikita Dragun. The palette actually looks quite good, I'm not gonna lie. There's some really like cool textures in this palette, and the colours look pretty cool. Like obviously it's a Morphe palette, so it's huge and you're going to be able to get a lot of looks out of this. However, like I just said about the Sample Beauty palette, I'm kind of over these big palettes at the moment. I don't know, I'm going through a phase where I just like my palettes to be slightly smaller, slightly curated shades, so that it's really easy for me to just kind of look at the palette and know exactly what I want to do with my eyeshadow. I don't like my palettes these days to be kind of any bigger than like a 9 pan. I don't know what it is, I don't know, I just like smaller palettes with more curated shades. That's just the vibe I'm on at the moment, so I won't be buying that. Patrick Tar is coming out with a Major Glow face gloss. This actually looks really nice, but it does look the tiniest bit too dark for me. I haven't really seen any swatches or anyone apply this on really sort of like pale skin like myself, but it just looks like that golden tone that is just going to be the tiniest bit too dark for me when I haven't got fake tan on. And to be honest, I've got so many like glossy cream highlighters and liquid highlighters and things like that. Most of the time I do prefer a kind of powder highlighter over the cream highlighters, so this product doesn't really interest me too much, but I'm sure it's lovely. And it's $38 as well, so that's about £30, so that's quite expensive for a cream highlighter in my opinion. Maybe it's for the body as well, I don't actually know. Melt Cosmetics is coming out with a Beetlejuice collection. This to me just looks ugly. That's quite rude, but I just don't like the packaging of this. It reminds me of Snot, like the green lipsticks remind me of Snot. I also don't really like the shades either. I don't know, everything just looks a little bit too ugly and like Halloweeny and gimmicky. The pot of the purple eyeliner thing, that looks like it could be really nice, but that's like literally the only thing that I would even be remotely interested in, but I won't buy it anyway because it's probably like 20 or something pounds for a tiny little pot of eyeliner. So yeah, I will be passing on this collection. Natasha Denona is launching her Triochrome palette, I think that's how you say it. I actually really love the look of literally every single palette that Natasha Denona brings out. I feel like her colour stories in her palettes are really pretty, and the shimmers always look amazing, the mattes always look amazing, but I've heard so many negative reviews from Natasha Denona palettes online that I'm actually scared to buy one in case it is as bad or as kind of hit and miss as what everyone says. So the general kind of consensus, I tried to use a big word and I don't think that's the right word. So the general kind of thing with Natasha Denona palettes that people say online is that they're very kind of hit and miss. Like some shades will work really nicely, other shades are really patchy, some shades have like no pigmentation, and so it's kind of hit and miss. Like you don't really know what to expect from palette to palette. And Natasha Denona palettes are not inexpensive. For a palette this size, you're probably looking at over 60 or maybe 70 pounds. Some of her palettes are even over £100. So I'm not really going to pay that much money for a palette if I'm not like 100% sure that it's literally going to change my life. You know what I mean? The colours actually look wicked in this palette. I love the greens, I love the purples. They really do, the colours really do look amazing, but it's just, I'm just not going to pay that amount of money for a palette that, if you know, it's going to be hit and miss like that, it's just not going to be worth it for me. So the next launch is from Spectrum Cosmetics, and this is the Pantherine collection. The packaging of this looks really nice. I'm not the biggest kind of fan of like animal print in general, but this actually looks like it's done quite nicely. It kind of gives me more like tortoiseshell vibes rather than like panther vibes. The collection looks really pretty. The brushes, I've not really tried Spectrum brushes sort of too much. I've had like one or two here and there, but I've not really tried a lot of them. But with the one or two that I did try, I wasn't blown away, so I've never kind of like rushed back to buy them again. So the brushes I probably wouldn't be interested in for that reason, and recently I've been preferring buying brushes like singly as opposed to buying a set, because when you buy them singly you're more likely to use obviously the brushes that you've bought rather than buying a set and then only using like 2 or 3. So I won't be buying the brushes. The palette again also just looks like another palette that I have in my collection already. It looks kind of very kind of neutral and warm tones, oranges and reds, which I love those tones, but I have so many palettes with those similar shades. I just don't need this. Okay, so this is a palette from Linda Halberg, I believe I'm saying that correctly. I've actually never heard of this person or brand, so I'm really sorry if anyone like loves this person or brand, but I've never heard of it. This is again another neutral eyeshadow palette. This one looks very pretty. The colours are super nice. It's kind of like your everyday palette. Like if you had this, you could use this literally every day, and it's got some darker shades in there as well, so it'd be really nice to use as kind of like a day to night palette. But it just, yeah, it's $55, so that's about £48, and that's a hell of a lot of money for a neutrals palette that's got 12 shades. In my opinion, I'm sure the formula will be really nice for that price, but for me personally, I don't need this. Okay, so KVD Vegan Beauty are launching some lipsticks, it looks like, some lashes, a tattoo liner in a mini. Oh, I believe this is just the holiday collection. Yeah, it is. I've never really tried KVD Vegan Beauty or Kat Von D when it was Kat Von D. I do have the kind of like highlight and contour palette, but I've never really tried anything else other than that. And as a brand, it's just not really a brand that I'm ever like really drawn to. It's the same with this collection. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't really call my name. It's just not really for me, and I feel like it's quite pricey, probably be for what it is. That's just my personal opinion. Lancome is launching their holiday collection. So we have an eyeshadow palette, a highlighter, a couple of lipsticks. This eyeshadow palette I've actually seen in real life and it's quite underwhelming, to be honest. The colours look like they're nice, but none of them look like they actually go together. Again, we've got that random blue in there that really annoys me. The packaging of this in real life as well looks quite cheap. So if you're sort of buying this thinking the packaging looks really like luxe and expensive, it's actually just plastic and it does look quite cheap in my opinion. Lancome again isn't a brand that calls my name. I don't know what it is. I just think it's overpriced beauty products that just shouldn't be that price. I think there's so much better makeup on the market. Anything I've kind of like tried from them before or like swatched in the store, I don't know, I'm underwhelmed by the products, and for the price tag I just don't think it's worth it. Too Faced are launching some Better Than Sex faux mink lashes. I'm a huge fan of the Better Than Sex range. I love the mascara. I actually really do like the eyeliner as well. However, I don't know, I just feel like these lashes just look okay. Like they just look like something that you would find, you know, from Ardell or Isla, and I do feel like they're going to be quite expensive because obviously Too Faced is quite a pricey brand. So for the price that these lashes are probably going to be, I'm not actually entirely sure how much they are, but for the prices that they're going to be, I would rather just use something a little bit more inexpensive. And then last but not least, Kiko are launching a Wonder Woman collection. This collection just looks a little bit boring to me. I don't know, I'm not a Wonder Woman fan or that kind of, you know, I'm not like a superhero like fan. These products just look very meh. Like it looks like they've spent a lot of time on packaging and not a lot of time on the actual product. The eyeshadow palette looks awful, to be honest. The brushes look nice. I mean, I've never really tried anything too much from Kiko. I've tried their lip glosses before and a few other bits, but I've never really kind of like delved into the brand entirely. So I'm sure the products are actually quite nice. I've heard really good things, but this collection just doesn't look that great. It just looks a little bit cheap and a little bit gimmicky, and I definitely will not be buying this. Right, and that is everything that I have to talk about today for my anti-haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. If you did, then please do let me know by giving the video a thumbs up, and I can definitely film these videos on a little bit more of a regular basis. Please do make sure you're subscribed as well if you're not already. That would be absolutely amazing, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.